Taiwan's smart machinery solutions combine a handcrafted passion for progress with a pursuit of precision. Taiwan employs advanced techniques to make precision components and machine tools while innovating, integrating and automating within the industrial Internet of Things, supported by cobots in this complete and future-ready infrastructure.
We are pushing the boundaries of smart machinery.
Taiwan, the pursuit of excellence.
Okay. Hey, again, right? Unbelievable. Mute myself. No matter how many times you do it, you somehow still make that basic mistake. Welcome, everyone, to this Taiwan Excellence Webinar. We've got three interesting guests, as you would have seen from the promotional material that's been going out non-stop. My name is Karamjit Singh, and I'm a technology journalist with Digital News Asia. I'm also the host for this webinar. We're going to be talking about a very interesting topic that is topical, and that is going to continue to be topical for quite a while, because smart manufacturing is super important and becoming even more important now, right? So look, today, like I said, today's webinar is brought to you by Taiwan Excellence and is jointly organized by Malaysia Kini and Kini Events. Now, for those of you who do not know what Taiwan Excellence is, I'll give you just a quick introduction, and you may watch my eyes going down slightly below camera angle, and that's so that I just read some of the notes I prepared. And look, this is really a name, right, which carries the honor of Taiwan's premium products, okay? And every year what happens is that the organization behind this selects the best products shortlisted for these Taiwan Excellence Awards. And to be shortlisted even, right, you have to pass the most stringent quality assurance to get the seal of this excellence. And that's important. Why? Because then whenever you're buying a product that carries the seal, which says Taiwan Excellence, you know that this is a product that you're getting the absolute best quality. It has gone through a rigorous standard of assessment and comparison, all right? Now, in recent years, I think the manufacturing sector in Malaysia has been witnessing growth with an interconnected technology integration, right? And moving towards smart and agile. And for some of you, you may have seen the news from just last week where the World Economic Forum designated for the first time a manufacturing company in Malaysia as one of its lighthouse champions, right, for excellence in 4IR. And although it is not a Taiwanese company, I'm sure at some point you're going to see a number of Taiwanese companies joining the ranks also. But just to tell you that already organizations in Malaysia are moving towards adopting IR 4.0 and all towards improving their productivity and to make sure that they are at the forefront of excellence in manufacturing. Why? So that you can please your customers and you can get more customers, right? So now what we're going to do is that joining us as we explore the latest in smart manufacturing trends are representatives from two Taiwan Excellence winners. So we're going to have two companies which are already past winners of this Taiwan Excellence Mark, sharing some of their thoughts with us on trends. And we're also going to have the country manager director of ABB Malaysia, Mr. R.Narayanan. So I'm using Mr. because Narayanan is just a bit more senior than the other two gentlemen who are both in their mid to late 30s. And what we're going to do is we're going to start this sequentially. I'm going to have Ryan come on and share the screen with me to open up with 4 or 5 minutes of remarks about what he thinks about this topic and what has been the experience of his company. And then it's going to be followed by Mr. Narayanan. Then third is going to be Tean. And after that, I'm going to be asking them questions that we have already prepared. And by the way, you'll be happy to know that most of the questions they're going to be answering are questions that those of you who have already RSVP'd, and we thank you for that, who've already asked your questions. But that also doesn't mean that those of you who have not asked questions, who maybe want to start listening to some of the sharing going on, and then that prompts you to ask a question, the three speakers will be looking at the questions that you send also, and they'll be trying their best to answer your questions also. So with that, let us have Ryan to share the screen with me.
Hi.
Okay, Ryan is already ready. Great. So Ryan, the screen is yours for the next 4 minutes, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Karam. Hi, everyone. I would like to give my thanks to Malaysia Kini and Taiwan Excellence for inviting us to be the speaker for this webinar. I'm honored to be here. My name is Ryan from Advantech, Malaysia. I'm the Asian Solution Business Development Manager. Before we begin to introduce our solutions, I'd like to take a short 1-2 minutes to introduce our company. All right. Advantech is a leader in industry computers, and we are a global recognized brand. And of course, we are from a Taiwanese company, and our mission is to enabling an intelligent planet. Our core business is manufacturing industrial PC, edge computer, as well as factory automations products like I/O modules, touchscreens, switches, etc. We are also provide IR 4.0 solutions, and we are working with our domain partners and system integrator around the world to provide a complete solutions to the markets. This is just the worldwide presence. We are in 28 countries. We have 3 manufacturing sites. One is in Kunsan, Linko, and also in Japan, Nogata. All right. Let's talk a little bit of Advantech Malaysia. We have 2 offices in Malaysia. One is in our headquarters in Penang, and our branch office is in Selangor, KL. Throughout the year, we have set our own warehouse as well as Asian RMS Center, a repair center in Penang. We are also the solution hub for the Asian regions. We focus on smart manufacturing, factory automation, equipment and machine builders, power and energy, as well as smart city. All right. Now let's talk about the major trend in manufacturing transformations.
Okay.
Which are to accelerate the digitalizations, to restructure the supply chain, and to have the ESG sustainability. We understand that in manufacturing industry is divided into process and discrete manufacturing. For process manufacturing include inputs that vary in characteristics. For discrete manufacturing has largely uniform parts and does not have a lot of changes.
Okay.
Different manufacturings require a different solution to reach their target of transformations. So a lot of customers ask what is a good starting point and what kind of solution should be adopted. With depends on the industry are you in. So basically you might want to choose the solutions to address your most urgent pain points to begin. If you are in a process industry, asset utilization plus quality and defect monitoring and improvement should be the priority. And however, you in the discrete manufacturing, you should focus in improving work in progress inventory and response times to the customers. Okay. Thus, in Advantech, we have categorized our solution as well as hardware into 4 parts. Smart manufacturing is to compute an overall effectiveness of equipment with event alarm notifications. Productivity optimizations to digitize the production workflow with data transparency. That's very important. Energy sustainability. Our EMS system is follow ISO 5001 and we adopt a PDCA cycle, which is do, plan, check actions for energy saving. And lastly is machinery health management, where we are able to give you the predictive and preventive of your fixed access of the productions, such as the machineries and also the motors.
Ryan, sorry, just one second, because I saw your iFactory, right? You had under Smart Manufacturing Suite, you talk about event and alarm notification.
Yes, correct.
And then you just ended by saying your machinery operations maintenance, right? Preventive maintenance. So how I would assume that preventive maintenance means that you are getting an alarm or notification, right, from the product. So how are the two different? Just out of my own curiosity here, and maybe for the audience also.
These are very different. So in production, you have unscheduled downtime. You have something happen. So during the production, those will give you the events and the alarms through our system. Whereby machinery health management, we have the AI algorithm will help you to analyze your machines, what is going on, whether you need to be to do maintenance or there's some things that you need to repair. Based on that, then we will give you a notifications. There are 2 different things. Yeah.
Okay, so one is already set, right? Like, you know, schedule maintenance, right? Okay, then the other one is where the AI is telling you, okay, your scheduled maintenance is 2 weeks from now, but we're telling you, you better go and look at the equipment right now, correct? Or, you know, okay, nice. Correct. All right, thanks.
Right. So let's go to my last slide. So our iFactory solutions are actually positioned in the middle triangle. As you can see, we have layer 0 to all the way to layer 5. The field level, the devices, the robotic, the sensor, all the way to the IT layer, which is the ERP system, you know. So user can select different entry points with a focused solution to start with. The demand for the digital transformation is shifting from connectivity and data abstractions to integrations with IT system, with ERP and MES to drive and gain business value from data and analytics. So these changes will enhance the IoT technology, and with the ease of operation in IT, OT, and IoT, our solution actually can combine this technology and applications to enable users to quickly adopt, integrate, and reduce the overall cost of development. So these are my last slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So very powerful. I expect the revenue at some point is going to be way higher. Because you want to enable a smart planet. That is a very ambitious, statement of intent. But interesting. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's get Narayanan on to share, his thoughts. Now, the difference between Narayanan sharing is that Ryan and Tean come from they are Taiwanese companies, right? Whereas the Narayanan is with ABB, and ABB is a global company which has long been established global. I know maybe then the two Taiwanese companies say, hey, we are global also. Okay, so I got to say they're also global, but ABB has probably been global, from a lot longer. And also ABB has, they claim to have a 100-year history in Malaysia from the first point back in, I think, 1904, when they helped TNB to install a particular piece of equipment, although they actually set up operations in Malaysia, I think, in 1975. So it is a company with a very long history in Malaysia. And Narayanan, now, you'll share with us your opening, 4 minutes of thoughts, right?
Thank you, Malayashkini, and thank you, Taiwan Excellence, for inviting us for this webinar, actually. So ABB, as Karan mentioned, has got a legacy of more than 130 years.
Wow.
We are there in more than 100 countries, 105,000 employees, revenue of $26 billion. And we are there in all the three geographies. Europe is around $9.6 billion of revenue. Asia, Middle East, Africa around 8.5, and America is around $8 billion. So we operate in 4 business areas. Okay. There is 2 businesses, which is primarily automation. One is process automation, where we do the complete automation in the process industries like steel, oil and gas, mining, metals, etc. Everything which is process industries related. And the other one where we do end-to-end automation is the robotics and discrete automation, which is the hybrid and discrete manufacturing industries like the automobile, food and beverage, pharmaceuticals, and various other small machine building type of equipment. And even like you can say glove manufacturing, etc., all falls in this category.
Okay.
And then the backbone of our 2 businesses, electrification, where we do solutions from switch and sockets to all types of switch gear up to 36 kV.
Okay.
Right from 220 kV. And then motion, where we do drives and motor for all application, DC, AC. Drives, we have even supplied up to 100 megawatt for NASA wind tunnel application. And also motors, also we make all types of ones as well as generators. Then just getting into the type of industries which we are there, this is a very important curve to actually look at the digitalization, which we call as the S curve. So the industries where ABB operates are all marked in red, actually. So they are somewhere in the center of the S curve. And
Narayanan, are you because we don't see your slides yet. Are you trying to share your slides?
Yes, I'm sharing the slides.
Okay. I don't see them on the screen, so I just want to because our viewers also may not be able to see the slides then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can't see the slide. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Maybe you could just go back to your first slide. Yeah, just go back to one slide.
Okay, one slide back.
Just one slide back. Yeah.
So this was what I was covering earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So that's primarily the 4 business areas.
Okay.
And then the industries where we operate is in this digital curve, actually, where we are at the center of the digital curve, our industries, which are there in infrastructure, utilities, the process, as well as the hybrid and discrete manufacturing sector. And when we look at the automobile industry, would be at the top of the curve in our space. And then, of course, you have the other sectors like the financial, ICT, etc., which have reached very high level of digitalization.
Yes, true.
And then we have offering our expertise, which we have gathered over our 130 years history on applications, etc. And then working with other partners, which I will share subsequently on how we offer the digital solutions to the market. And primarily it is software innovation, and it is primarily gathering real time as well as data driven for safer operations, actually. Going to the next slides, these are some of our partners. One is Microsoft, whose cloud we operate. We call this cloud as the ABB ability. And then with Hewlett Packard, we work on the enterprise solution wherever it is required. For example, most of the management is also looking for data crunching in addition to the actual production. So that also we get it synchronized. That is the ERP backbone. And then with IBM, we work on artificial intelligence, and we have offered some solutions together with them on IBM Maximo. And then we have 2 partners who are there for the 5G. One is Huawei, which is there in some countries, especially China. And then in most of the other countries, it is with Ericsson. Like Malaysia, we are working with Ericsson. In Thailand, also with Ericsson, and Australia, etc. So it depends on which operator is there in the country, and we work accordingly with them. Then Dassault is actually the defense company from France, actually, which manufactures the Rafale aircrafts. So we work with them also to offer some smart manufacturing solutions to them. Incidentally, the Ericsson factory also uses our smart solutions, especially with respect to the robotics and the flexible manufacturing. And then we have an industrial IoT database, that is Crate 10, which actually powers the ABB digital solutions.
Sorry, Narayanan, just a quick question about Dassault, right? A French company. I know that they also have incorporated mixed reality, / virtual reality into their solutions also. Is that something that you all also provide because they're a partner of yours? And I'm wondering whether that's under smart manufacturing also. So I'm sorry, I'm jumping into questions right away, but I found that interesting. So
Dassault takes some solutions and they put it in their defense systems, etc. So a lot of the real-time and smart aspects are there into the manufacturing, but some of them is actually proprietary, and they don't share also the complete information because of the nature where they operate, especially the defense industry.
Okay.
That they would not like to share it so that someone else copies their aircrafts, etc.
IP, of course.
IP, so that's how it works. Malaysia, you mentioned, we are there since 1904. We have 440 colleagues in ABB Malaysia, 11 nationalities. So here also we work with utilities, industries, as well as transport and infrastructure. Bulk of our revenues come from Peninsular Malaysia, around 80%, 5% from Sabah, and 15% from Sarawak. So we have a digital portfolio, which is the factory automation, that is using the machine automation as well as the robotics. We have a digital operation center in Malaysia, where we are monitoring robots in the entire Asia Pacific region, excluding China. China has got a standalone because that's the largest install base of robotics. But the rest of Asia, we manufacture it, we monitor it from the digital operations center. The digital operations center primarily means it monitors the robots and gives what is called as preventive maintenance and informs the operators what should be changed and what they should look at. Spirit IT is something which we are working along with Petronas for the measurement and analytics. We also have intelligent building solutions. And then we are also a center of excellence for control and automation technologies.
Oh, okay.
We also do EV charging. You would have read that in the newspapers that we have developed the biggest EV chargers where you can charge 4 large vehicles simultaneously. And yesterday we launched also a EV charger which can charge a light aircraft which carries 7 people. That is completely on electrical technology.
Wow, amazing. So you have customers in Malaysia for these 2 EV examples you gave?
EV, we have a EV charger in our factory. If you visit our factory, we can show you the EV charger. So we have quite a few cars come and charge in our EV charger actually.
Nice. Okay.
But Malaysia, the petrol prices are so cheap that no one, unless the government offers some very substantial incentive, it is unlikely to go into.
But Malaysians will complain that it's not cheap anymore. Remember 5 years ago, they removed the subsidy. So it's actually falling market price. So interesting that you still say it's cheap, but I think many Malaysians will say it's not cheap. Probably it is fair or slightly on the high price now. But never mind, we won't get into that. Otherwise, we'll get distracted.
Otherwise, that will be the only debate we'll have today. Actually.
Okay.
Then I just take my last slide. This is on FMM. I'm also a council member of the Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers.
Okay.
So we work with the manufacturers in Malaysia and try to help them upgrade their systems so that they also get into Industry 4. So when we look at the FMM, this was established in 1968. There are 10 branches. FMM is present in all the states actually. It has got 3 subsidiaries. And it is the body which is the most recognized body as far as the government of Malaysia is concerned. So you would have seen the President Tan Sri Soklai, who is always there beating the government whenever there is economic policy actually.
Yeah.
So out of the membership, we have 74% are SMEs and 26 are large companies like ABB, Panasonic, Nestle, those sort.
Yeah.
And it is a industry spectrum which is wide: food and beverage, chemicals, including petroleum and fabricated metals are the top 3, and then the rest are there actually. So with the world depending more ever on connectivity and exchange of data, digitalization will drive agility for smart manufacturing. Thank you very much.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. I think we're going to now have Tean come on and share his opening 4 minutes of thoughts, and then I'm raring to go after that. So Tean, can you join us?
Yes. Hi.
Hello.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you for the introduction, and also I think we have 2 big guys before me, so the pressure is there. All right, just gonna make it simple. So basically, in our I'm representing Hiwin Technologies. We are actually a company from Taiwan. So in the meantime, let me share my screen. Okay, so I'm a sales manager covering Malaysia and Indonesia. So
Indonesia also. Okay.
Yeah. So why don't I start a bit about what is Hiwin?
Yep.
All right. So basically, we are a Taiwanese-based listed company, but we have a global technology manufacturer mindset. So basically, just now when you mentioned about global, right? So basically, we are also global. We have a manufacturing plant in Germany as well, Japan. So we have multiple bases around the world. In the same time, we are actually one of the market leaders in offering like linear motion and also system technology in automation industry. All right. So basically, Taiwan Excellence, we are frequent winners of their awards and also some Red Dot awards.
Wow, not easy to get. Okay, well done.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. Then also something that, because we are basically a hardware guy, we were known as a hardware guy. So basically, before you get your phones and all these things, they basically come out from a machine.
Yep.
Right. iPhones or this. So basically, we are the component suppliers to build the machines back then. All right. So from there, we have evolved to a company where we actually supply something which is more significant in a way that end users might see, like robotic arms and all this. So we even have, like I think Ryan also mentioned, and also Narayanan also,
yep.
Preventive maintenance and all this. So we also develop new products which actually suits to the industry 4.0, which is preventive maintenance.
Okay.
So we are the guy who supply the internal parts of most of the products in the world. All right, so just a bit sharing on what is Hiwin and who we are. Right. So the next thing, actually, because of the title of smart manufacturing, so I don't intend to talk about a lot of our products. So just something that is related to the industry and the marketing, not marketing, as in like the industrial 4.0, what is needed. So basically in Malaysia, we found out that actually from our end, a lot of customers are SME who is trying to, follow up the big footstep of people talking about IoT, talking about industrial 4.0. So for us, we're actually trying to help those who are in need, especially SME, because they are in the middle of like nowhere. They're not as big as those major players and all this. So from there, we actually come into where we need to identify where your position is, as in SMEs, you guys, So from there, we actually diagnose and just share our experience, because for Hiwin, we actually started the industrial automation way back, like about 6 years ago, to improve our own manufacturer site. Okay, we implement robots and all these things so that we can link up to currently we are talking about 4.0. All right, so behind after this, I will share currently I'm just defining the industrial 4.0 and smart manufacturing side. Right, so in terms of like if you are going to go into smart manufacturing industry 4, so you have to go by step. You have to go 1, 2, and 3, and 4. You can't just 1 to 4. All right, so this is something that just an example of how a smart factory should look like. All right, just very simple, but you see lesser labor, lesser dependent on labor. And all. All right, but I mean, everybody probably go into very sensitive, controversial, less labor, less work. I think that one we'll go through later when we're gonna go into Q&A. Somebody gonna pop that question out. All right. Okay, so this is some of the products that actually helps in the sense of we are the bridge for you to get to industrial 4.0. Robotic arms, I mean, these are some of the products that we actually are supplying to our current customers who's going to implement 4.0, but in the midst of changing from 3 to 4.
Okay.
So some other products that is in the market, but maybe some end user side you don't really see it. As in like consumer-wise, they don't really see it, but these are basically for manufacturer side, even until SME levels.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go details, but I'm just glance through. So basically, we are into robotic arms control and all this, where the robotic arms actually be able to send back some data for us to do a preventive maintenance. And also for robotic-wise, just to define its value in terms of automation and also industrial 4.0. We are only replacing certain laborers who are doing repetitive job. All right, which actually in the market, a lot of locals are not very keen on doing it. Later, I think I will explain even more. So we are trying to fulfill that part and also fulfill the requirement from the government side, where they are trying to cut down foreign workers. So that is the problem that we are facing. So we are trying to step into the gap in between that. So sharing a bit more of our actual project, which is done in Taiwan. All right, so on the left side, you can see before, so traditional ways of manufacturers, simple. You're gonna see the parts is everywhere, unorganized and all this. But on the right-hand side is after a changeover being done with the collaboration from Hiwin and also Taiwan government.
Okay.
We actually help I would say almost 100 years old industry to survive changes accordingly. All right, so everything is digitalized, everything is automated. So you will see whatever here is what we want to help the SME in Malaysia to achieve as well. All right.
So, but sorry, Tean, just a quick question, right? Tean, when you gave that example, right, old factory, 100 years old, 50 years old, and then you showed the new picture, and you said everything is digitalized. Is that too difficult a step for your average SME to suddenly go flip the switch and do 180-degree, transition? Or your experience is that normally people do, by staggered? I'm just curious because this is a real experience and it's quite an amazing example. But I'm wondering whether most SMEs follow this path or not.
Actually, okay, to be very honest, changing is a hard part for everybody.
Of
but
course.
The thing is, have a baby step. And we are not talking about overnight changes. We are talking about plan changes, like by phase. Probably you need about 18 to 24 months to really realize all these things. We're not about, we won't overcommit that, 3 months. Because nobody, money, budget is one of the concern, right? So I think a lot of SMEs are worried of going into this because of, that's the limitation. How much money am I supposed to invest? So this thing actually for us, we are trying to consult that we don't do overnight. Like, we are not going to be overnight millionaires. We need to work out. So we go by phase.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yep. So these are some of the illustration of how your factory in any wave of industry you can achieve with, right? Like totally a transformation. I would say a transformation from traditional to a new industry 4.0 smart manufacturing. All right. So this is basically a rough layout of individual stage. So I'm trying to just make to related to the topic and
sure,
a bit
absolutely
more, because we are still the hardware guy. So we are always the gap in between realization and also like just planning on the paper on digital. Yeah. So it's something that I want to share.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, I think
very good. Thank you very much. Thank you. A lot of stuff here. So let's quickly get everybody on screen now. And I'm going to shoot off the first question, and for all those who are listening, the first question is the only question I'm going to ask all three panelists. And then they have individual questions. Like I said, they're selected from what you have pre-sent. If there are any new questions, they will be watching out for your questions. If they want to answer those, they will answer those also. So just quickly, the first question I have to ask is dives right into the heart of this topic, right? We're talking about smart manufacturing, driving agility. So I'll start with you, Ryan. Can you share the same question for all three of you? Is that in your experience, right, what is this concept of driving agility, right, within the umbrella of smart manufacturing? And then part two of it is, what part do companies struggle with the most, right, to try to become, this agile smart manufacturer?
Hi, Carol. So agility actually promotes operational excellence. So in my opinion, be it Industry 4.0 or digital business transformations, data-driven organizations is important for drive agility. So a lot of people actually misunderstood what is IR 4.0 or what is IR 3.0. A lot of SME, especially, when Tean was talking about the 50 years, 100 years old factory, and most of these factories, they are a lot of actually is still under Industrial 2.0. It's not even 4.0. So there's a huge jump that going into it. So basically, you need to look at your situation, your factory. What do you need, and how can you jump from here to there? So it's actually a journey. Yeah. Okay. So for my, sorry, what's the second question again?
Just about what part of this driving agility do companies struggle with the most?
When IR 4.0 come out, or smart manufacturing came out, when there's a lot of webinar, a lot of seminar, then people are interested to know more about. Then they are taught that, this is new technology, is gonna be very expensive. It costs about 2 million, 3 million. So all the SME manufacturers like pulling handbrake, I'm not going to invest all this money because there's no point, right?
Yeah.
So now, because of the pandemic situations and a lot of SME realize that, this is actually what I need, and it can help my business to grow. Even the nations is under lockdown. Some of them cannot go to the work, 30% of workforce. At least my production is still running on those end. Earlier Tean was saying that it's not a 3 months promise or overnight promise, right? So actually it's a whole journey, it's a roadmap. So you need to plan your blueprint, I would say, how you want to get from here to there and how you want to achieve it by phases. Then you track your progress and where is it aligned to your business or your direction you want to go about. That is my opinion.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Very practical. Narayanan, you want to take the same question? You're on mute. Sorry, you're on mute.
Sorry,
okay.
I had put myself on mute. Okay, agility would be actually a subset of smart manufacturing. Okay. So the main reason of this agility is how you change your production concept based on market demand, actually. So you have to be extremely agile in how you react to that.
Okay.
Just going back in industry, history, actually, when you take off industry 2.0, actually that was the mass production which was pioneered by Henry Ford and others. That means you produce the same thing and customers have to just accept it, actually.
Yep.
Whereas today, when you go to any supermarket, especially on the consumption, fast-moving consumer goods, whether it is cosmetics or whether it is food and beverage, you have the same product, various types of packaging, various varieties, flavor, color, etc.
Yep.
So the agility is how the factory manages to switch its manufacturing capability very quickly, and that is how agile the organization is, actually.
Okay, so the speed is a factor in this switching to agile. Yeah. Okay.
Speed and also the variety which the consumers want today. That's where it comes.
Understood. All right. Tean, let's move to you then. And what do you think of this?
Yeah, I think I agree with Narayanan talking about speed. Actually, when you're talking about manufacturing nowadays, from Ryan points, like because of the pandemic, actually it fastened the requirement and also the acceptance of stepping into so-called of Industry 4.0 or what we call now smart manufacturing. So in terms of implementing this, one is to resolve labor issue, right? The second thing of all, I think everybody they are going to face a season of RAM orders coming in because of to fulfill the gap in between during the pandemic season of so we are talking about production. So when you're talking about production, there's so much of labor that you can only hire by the new law set by the government.
Okay.
So to go to there, you definitely have to take this leap of faith to go into smart manufacturing. From what I mean, like before the pandemic, it might be or maybe, but now you're talking. I have to. We have to. So SME, I mean, we are targeting crowd, like because you see FMM record 70+% they are members in the SMEs. So SMEs are the crucial group that we need to really help them, to go through this hump and to help them to actually help the Malaysia side to create this kind of export. Even we're not talking about only for local, we're talking about export market that we are supposed to help the country to grow. So in terms of smart manufacturing, definitely the agility-wise, for me, the definition will be increasing the production efficiently. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Let's now move on to the questions that have been pre-sent by the audience. And of course, all three of you will be looking for any new questions you want to answer. So Ryan, this was a question that came from Arif Rashid from Telekom Malaysia, right? And he's wondering what is the take-up rate in Malaysia of smart manufacturing. I think this is a very hard question to answer because I don't think that our Department of Statistics, or even FMM is tracking this yet. But you wanted to take this question, so how would you answer that? You're on mute, Ryan.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the pre-pandemic, means before the COVID. Right. So as mentioned earlier, the smart manufacturing or IR 4.0 are just widely introduced by both private and government. And the most of the SME manufacturers or the factory owner just take it as a new technology. It's a nice to have items, but it's not necessary to be implemented in the factories. But because of pandemic and nation closing down, the world's closure, economy closed, And now we in the post-pandemic situations, a lot of the backlog orders, like Tean mentions, there's a lot of ordering that you need to do export and all that. And it has forced them to take up the Industrial 4.0. So they already realized, oh, actually, this is important. This is actually what I need to help me to improve my productivities and so my business. So you're talking about the ticker rate at the moment. It's on the very high side, but for now, for this year to the next 2 years, it will be an exponential growth in terms of SME. Yeah.
Okay, wow, interesting. All right, exponential. So it's going to be like, I think what Tean was saying, there is a pent-up demand also, right? So it's catching up. So, okay, let's see whether this happens, right? Let's move on to a question to Narayanan now, which is, I guess, not so much what is smart manufacturing. I think we've already gone through it, but how can digitalization, right, contribute to greater agility that you're talking about earlier in manufacturing?
Okay. When we talk of digitalization, that's the core of the smart manufacturing, actually.
Okay.
So this manufacturing will have a lot of computer integrated manufacturing as well as a lot of digital technology embedded there. Then you'll have a lot of smart sensors as well as connectivity devices as well as advanced robotics as far as the digitalization is concerned. So when we look at digitalization, it is at 3 levels. The bottom of the pyramid would be what we call as the fog, where one device talks to another device. The simplest example is our smartphones, which we have. We on the Bluetooth and you also on the Bluetooth. We can talk to each other on the Bluetooth. So we have technologies like that where we put, for example, a smart sensor on a motor. Someone goes with the phone, on the Bluetooth, collects all the data, etc. And this is also similar for various equipment. The next stage would be where we take all the information. That means all the various items which are there in a plant, all that is brought to a centralized system. So that would be either a PLC or a distributed control system, depending on the size of the plant. And then the operator and the others are sharing it and doing the preventive maintenance, etc. And the next level, it would go to the cloud, actually, where the information is stored. So the cloud, sometimes many companies will say that you cannot take it out. So you will have to build a sort of a cloud within their own facility.
Okay.
And then it will never be always on one technology, actually, any plant. For example, ABB will be there. There will be also my competitors there. So like we are on the Microsoft cloud platform.
Yep.
Others will have different platforms. So those clouds also have to talk to each other. So that is called as inter-cloud operability. So depending on how that particular factory is, you do it there. So that's the reason it is generally what you mentioned earlier is never a complete transition. It is always in steps, right from the fog level up to the inter-cloud level, depending on what is the budget a customer has, actually. And we are prepared to do whatever is required for the customer, actually.
Of course. Okay. Thank you. Now, Tean, before I ask you the question, there's actually, I'm going to take one question from Jaya Silan, right? Which is, he's asking, what are the challenges when you transform your manufacturing process from 3.0 to IR 4.0? Can you take that? And then I'll ask you the question that is already been earlier.
Okay, regarding this, if you are going to from 3 to 4, first of all, you have to define, are you automated? Have you been doing automation on the hardware parts before you go to 4? 4, basically, I think like Ryan and also Narayanan mentioned, we are talking about data.
Okay.
All right. 4.0, basically, if you go through the government policy for the industry forward, okay, so we are talking about data collection. We are talking about systems. These are parts where Ryan and Narayanan, where they all come in, where you see this, okay, we have data. What am I supposed to do? Sure, right? So we have this data and we are trying to utilize the data to improve downtime, to improve productivity, to improve also the mistakes, or even these are all being put into the systems, even on monitoring system as well. So if you're talking from 3 to 4, challenges, Well, I guess it's the mindset, first of all, because if you are too used to what you are calling 2 or in between 2 to 3 industrial, you are so caught up with manual works.
Okay.
For that transition to from 3 to 4, you have to forego of a lot of old traditional ways. I think humans are a normal nature of worried about changes.
And we are creatures of habit also, yeah.
Exactly. So for you to change the down part of whole downline of your pipeline of process, that is one challenge. The next challenges is, I would say, is budgeting. So from there, the value of you transforming yourself from 3 to 4, it has to come from yourself. Are you valuing this upgrade? Are you really looking into the value of changing, transforming to this? And ultimately, like Ryan mentioned also, it's a journey. Will you be able to sustain yourself during that journey? Yes. I think that's the key thing for you to actually transform from 3 to 4. In terms of technicality wise, I'm pretty sure like Advantech, Ryan side, and even like ABB side, they are more than capable to actually assist on that side. So the business owner themselves have to have this determination to make this move. I would say it will be a bold move, but it will for a better future of the company.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So now the question I was going to ask you, and you already mentioned just now, you mentioned a forward, Malaysia's forward policy. And this is a question from somebody from the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission, one of the executives there. What will it take for Malaysia to drive smart manufacturing?
Okay, I think this one, let's break down to 2 parts. Let's start off with SME. I think I'm pretty much more worried about the SMEs like surviving in the market instead of the giants out there, right? So for SME part, I think for them to kick off, like I mentioned, mindset. You have to have the correct mindset first.
Okay.
Then the next thing, you need to identify your status. Where are you? Then you have to plan. And when you plan, I'm pretty sure the dollar sign pop up.
Yeah, of course.
Right? I think the biggest difficulties you face is that. So in terms of that, we have been through so many cases and so many customers who's SME. So we actually help them to find ways to resolve that part. Even you have to determined to make the transformation. Money is always a problem. So you can reach out to MIDA. You can actually reach out to they have multiple grant subsidies. I think we should also encourage them to utilize that because they are actually entitled to, but I think a lot of them are not aware.
Okay.
That's one thing. Then the rest, if you are worried that MIDA side maybe is fulfilled, the quota is max, you can even go through soft loans. There are a lot of multiple ways of getting soft loans where you can actually only have 4% per annum, and from 10 mils to 3 mils to 10 mils along 10 years. All these are also actually governed by the government. It's just that the money doesn't come from them.
Understood.
So I think key point is you have to take into consideration that if you want to start, you have to find ways. I think that's the most important. That's what I mentioned. First of all is mindset. Are you valuing this transformation?
Yeah.
So it comes back to education-wise. So we have to share and educate the next generation of the thinking of smart manufacturing.
I think education-wise, and also the business imperative, like you said, because of the COVID situation, right? It has forced the rules of engagement, right? Business, consumer behavior has changed. Business behavior also is adapting, has changed, and that's no more maybe nice to have, right? You must have it. I think that is helping to drive the agenda, which is why I think Ryan says that over the next 2 years, he's going to see a lot of adoption by SMEs. And we got to, right? You got to be competitive. You have to adopt. So now, having mentioned Ryan's name, let's go to Ryan with a question. But maybe Ryan, if you can, I'm going to put you on the spot. And that was a good question, I thought, from Leong Cook Weng, right? Who's saying that based on what you've shared so far, it feels like smart manufacturing solutions will need to be customized for SMEs because each SME comes from a different, he uses the word background, but I think it means from a different industry, right? So if you're a different vertical, will the solutions have to be customized? And is that customization such a challenge or not?
Oh, hi. So basically, in comes to manufacturing industry, there's a lot of different vertical market. We have, steel industry, we have the semicon, E&E, different parts. So in Advantech perspective, we work with different system integrator or partners to fulfill this gap. There's no one solution fits all. Definitely, there's no such thing. We are not selling a generic item, but we are trying to fulfill your requirement to able to address your pain point. So customization, yes, it will have customization, but it won't have so much of changes. So that no need to worry that how much customization you need. You just need to tell them what is your pain point, let them know what you need to improve. Then the system integrator or a technology provider will be able to consult you to help you on these portions.
Understood. Okay, so it's really because they are there, the service provider is there to help you, right? So this customization is needed, but it's not like 50% or even not 30% of the solution. Yeah, okay, it can be done. And that's important because you want speed, right? When somebody comes to you, they got an issue. Yeah. So now just quickly for you, this is a big picture question that you wanted to take, and this from, I think, Shamsul Yahya from Tean, means I guess Telecom Malaysia, right? How big do you feel is the smart manufacturing opportunity in Malaysia? So we know you're not IDC or Frost and Sullivan, right? But can you give a rough idea, you think?
I cannot give the numbers, but if you look at the manufacturing sector in our GDP, right, in our economy, most of our manufacture are coming from the SME, SMI. The big chunk is coming from SME, SMI. When we visit these manufacturers, right, and most of their factory are really still in IR 2.0, very manual works, and some is a little bit better in 3.0 or 3.5. So if you're looking at that part, right, there's actually a huge opportunity for them to transform their business model to IR 4.0. So there's a lot of opportunities in Malaysia.
Okay, fine, good. Thanks a lot. So let's move on. I think because we are down to the last 10 minutes and we'll probably go 2 or 3 minutes over. But Narayanan, I want to ask you a question that just came, and I think Ryan predicted that I'll definitely get a question on this, right? Which is that this from Kanya, and how is our talent ready to meet 4 or 4 IR demands? Because he thinks that it looks like a lot of jobs are going to get wiped out. So I don't know whether it's going to be that dramatic, but can you answer that? And then maybe even Tean also you can answer. And Tean, your answer will be interesting because at least you can share the Singapore perspective also, right? So Narayanan, for you to answer this question.
Okay, this is always a worry whenever there is a technology change. Actually.
Yeah, true.
Okay, I will just take example and then answer this question. Okay. For example, the banking industry. I don't think any of us now visits a bank actually for anything. We do all our transaction online.
Almost, yeah.
So rarely we visit it. Okay. So initially, when the banks went in for computerization and everything, people said the banks, everything will be lost, but that's not actually happened. So that's the same thing which will happen here when you adopt newer technology. It's what actually the minister in Malaysia also said, that with the automation, we want to eliminate dangerous, difficult, and monotonous jobs. That is what will happen actually. So, okay. For example, if you take robotics, which we use a lot in the automobile industry, if you see the cars today, the painting, finishing, etc. is extremely uniform. There is no welding, etc. because it is 100% done by robots. Whereas if it was being done by humans, you would have human safety, especially when they're doing the welding. So, but then you require people who operate the robots also. So there is always an employment that way. And then the scale of production has substantially gone up actually. Like for example, you take the automobile production, which was there in Malaysia 10 years back till now, that has also gone leaps and bounds. And because of this mass production, actually the cost of the product comes down. So more people will also buy the same product actually. So you will also have car penetration, which is there accordingly. So jobs will not get wiped out actually.
Okay, yeah. Actually, sorry, one quick point that I remember before I forget. For those of you who follow LinkedIn, every year does something. They come up with a list like, 10 jobs of the future. And last year's list, amazingly, and I think if you go online, you can check. If you go to DNA, so you can find one of the key jobs that companies were looking for was people who could work together with machines. So they want like human machine operators. So for human beings, right, for a person to be comfortable working together with a machine, that's going to be one of the key skill sets that they want, which is quite amazing to me to see that, as one of the top jobs of the near future, not even the distant future.
So
okay, sorry, I just wanted to share that.
Okay, this is exactly what I was going to cover up. That is what we launched, what we call as the cobots, actually. That is the collaborative robots, actually.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That is, we first just called the first product which we had launched was you, me, actually. That is you and me working together.
Okay.
Which means next to any human being, the robot can also work together simultaneously. So when they work together, the productivity increases even more higher, actually. So that's what it has to work together.
Interesting.
And Malaysia, I would not say is not technically skilled. Even before the pandemic, actually, when you look at the internet sales, etc., that is people doing online shopping, per million people, Malaysia was the highest in Asia, actually, and even higher than Europe. So the Malaysians are highly skilled as far as using their phones, their tablets, etc. And they will adapt quite quickly. I have also done quite a few seminars in the engineering colleges. Even the syllabus is changed to correct or take into the new technologies, etc. And people are quite adaptable, actually. So the younger generation will quite easily adapt to this new job. So that should not be a worry in Malaysia.
Nice to know that. Okay, I'm going on to Tean now, and then because we are running out of time, so after this, then Ryan, when we start with you again, just give your key takeaways for this session, okay? Because my last question for everyone for the panelists will be their key takeaways for this session. But before we come to that, Tean, can you answer this question from Kanya also? And his question also is actually linked to what you're planning to answer, which is a question from Wai Heng from Vitrox, which is one of our leading, IR 4.0 machine vision companies, right? And he was asking, how do you inspire people to adopt this new smart manufacturing, skills? Is it by using data or soft skills? So you can merge the two and take, let us have your take on this.
Okay, actually, just now, as I mentioned, mindset, education, and all these things. So I think, first of all, human. In Malaysia, if you have a lot of SMEs, because we've been through a lot in the previous discussion, so a lot of them are still in, I would say, factory side. They are still very old school.
2.0, I asked people before, they feel Malaysia, most of the manufacturing in Malaysia actually 2.5. He said we are on the way to 3. So okay.
Yeah. So from there, for the new generation, why is it a lot of new million babies, they are not stepping into this industry? First of all, working environment. If I'm a degree holder, I'm coming here, I'm not supposed to, for them, their mindset is I'm not supposed to work at this kind of environment. I want something that is, more proper in another way. So in terms of implementing like smart manufacturing, all this, actually it helps to improve the working environment. That's one thing. Safety, also another thing. And another thing, if you are worried about laboring, if you go through all the statistics, those who are working in the factories are mainly foreigners.
Okay.
Right. So eliminating foreigners laboring is one of the criteria which is set by the government from now onwards. Therefore, it comes again industry forward. So in that case, we are not going to wipe out, like Mr. Narayanan was mentioning, we are not going to wipe out. We are just going to increase each individual skill set. That is the key words. So when the question comes in, how do we inspire? Is it by data? Is it by... So basically, if you don't have the skill set, you cannot process the data. As simple as that. So we need to be capable to handle the data. So basically, it comes back to, are we going to educate the next generation, which is they are going to be equipped with all this necessity of knowledge of handling automation. Like you said, they're going to hire the next big thing coming up. They have to have somebody who's going to work with the robotic or even the machines.
Correct. Yeah.
Sometimes we're talking about working with it doesn't mean the operator have to work. We are talking about you dealing with the machine, you dealing with the robots. So that is the next job scope where people are going to look for this talent. Instead, instead, we are actually facing this issue as we are talking now. We have a lot of end users who are saying that we have a lot of robots, but we got no operators who can operate.
Wow.
You know, so this is the gap that we need to fill up for this generation.
Okay, just a quick question then for you, Tean. Surely you talk about new employers, right, or the young employees. But what about your veteran, machine operator who's been loyal to you for the last 2 decades, who he or she are in their 40s or 50s? In the example that you gave of Taiwan, was that factory able to upskill its long-time loyal staff also, and they were able to adapt? Because that would be very cruel and mean if suddenly you see in the new factory all the loyal staff say, sorry, because you cannot adapt, we have to give you VSS and bye-bye.
Not really. Actually, from the previous project we done in Taiwan, okay, let me share a short one. Basically, the seniors, I would say the pioneers, the seniors.
Yes.
One thing that you cannot take away from their value in the company is all the know-how.
Know-how, okay.
Right. So everybody has the know-how. So this is where they step in. They have to put the know-how instead of here to data. You see, that is the transformation not only for the hardware, it's also for the human beings.
For the software, yeah.
Because by doing that, they will help the company to grow. If you are the pioneer or even the seniors in the company, you also want the place to do well.
Oh yeah, of course.
As long as the company going to treasure you, appreciate your all the hard work that you have put in. The next thing is, if you could share that kind of knowledge, you will still be in charge because you know the know-how, whereas the young one don't have that kind of advantage.
Okay, nice. Thanks. I think it's important to address that. Okay, now we're going to do a quick wrap up. Ryan, maybe in 90 seconds, give your key takeaways you want to leave our viewers with.
The key takeaway from me is you need to think what you want to achieve in these transformations. That's the end goal, and how you want to from here to there. That is the most important part. So there's a lot of solutions in the market out there, but how can this solution able to fit in your roadmap? That is the most important thing. So this is my key away message.
Okay, good. Narayanan, you're on mute, huh?
Okay, the key takeaway is smart manufacturing and Industry 4 will remain actually. We had also the earlier industrial revolutions and people changed actually. It's only the question of timing. And one good thing is whenever there is a adversity, there is always an opportunity.
Absolutely.
So the pandemic actually has accelerated the adoption of Industry 4 better than what any one of us have been able to do actually. So now everyone is almost working from home. Everyone uses the various tools, etc. So one could say that the pandemic actually helped this accelerate the adoption of Industry 4.
Okay. Thank you. Tean?
Okay. My take will be start now or you never start at all. It's simple as that. Because if you're not going to go into smart manufacturing, in the end of the days, you will be eliminated from this crucial world.
Understood. Okay, cool. Hey, look, before I replay the last video, I just want to do a quick one because there was a question from Shaji, right? And I'll ask you, Tean, because you're handling Indonesia and Singapore and Malaysia, you said, and then you're also based in Singapore, which is that what are the key drivers in some of these countries that you operate in? Assuming they are in similar stage of automation is in Malaysia. So I guess probably not Singapore, but Indonesia may be suitable with Malaysia. Right? Same stage of automation, maybe 2 to 2.5, out of where we're at. What have been the key drivers, at least for Indonesia, then in them adopting, 4.0? And thank you for the question, Shaji. Sorry.
Okay, just a quick one. So basically for Indonesia, I guess you will be surprised that they are very eager to go into that because if you can see in terms of automotive wise, they are kind of way advanced than us because they have a lot of business going there and they are doing a lot of automation. I think ABB side they will understand because a lot of robotic arms I've seen over there. So They are actually a lot of automation being done in Indonesia. The problem that they face is the same thing that I just mentioned, because they don't have enough human power or even the correct person to actually operate. So that is the gap, that the challenges they face there is the equipment is there, but they don't have the talent.
Understood. Okay, good. So maybe that will be an issue in Malaysia also. And I'm sure Narayanan, in his work with FMM, is well aware, and it'll be interesting to see, what they do to prepare our companies here. So for all of you out there, thank you so much for your questions. There were a lot of questions coming, and there were already some questions asked beforehand. We've answered them. We really appreciate the privilege of your time. And we will now, my thanks to the three panelists also for their sharing. And you may see some questions that you may want to answer directly. You may maybe share your LinkedIn or your email with some of the people who've asked their questions, so that you can keep engaging with them. And I think we'll now call an end to this webinar. We thank you all again, and we're going to play a closing video also, right, of to reinforce the excellence of Taiwan as a country in manufacturing excellence. Thank you all.
Thank you.
In the face of a worldwide pandemic, Taiwan has actively lent a helping hand to the world. Taiwan Global Anti-COVID-19 Pavilion. In this website, we've created an anti-epidemic products and solution providers section, where you can find information about suppliers or any particular business solutions. This section will help you reach out to more than 2,000 Taiwanese companies who can aid in your fight against the pandemic. In these videos, companies and experts discuss the latest innovations to help combat the pandemic. In this section, we've put at your disposal the contact information of 20 Taiwanese top medical institutions. We also inform you about the main strategies used in Taiwan to effectively control and stop the spread of the virus. So please be sure to bookmark and share this website. And remember to follow us on Facebook for our latest updates.